Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, the wildest mixed tag team in podcasting where the kayfabe drops and the chaos takes over. Let's ring the damn bell.
Headlocks tight, heels on the prowl, dropping elbows, hearing growl, feel the foul. No script here, just real, no bluff. Kayfabe crack, now the dirt gets rough. Headlocks, heels, havoc in the zone. Stepping in the ring, chaos is your home. No filters, no mask, just raw, bare tone. Wrestling unscripted, we on the throne. Title belts, mic checks, crowd going crazy. Drop truth bombs, leaving lines feeling hazy. Beyond the kayfabe, past the charade, where legends are born and stories get made. Headlocks popping, who's hitting the mat? Welcome to the Havoc where the real talk's at. Tune in, step through, leave the fake at the door. Headlocks, heels, Havoc, now hear the roar.
Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am one half of the greatest tag team in this podcasting business, the legend J-Mac. With me, as always, is everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Slam, and, of course, my favorite tag team partner.
What's up? What's up, family?
And guys, we're going to start the show off, as you have seen, with a 10 bell count to Mr. Ted Turner, Mr. WCW, Mr. TBS, Mr. TNT, Mr. Turner Classic. I mean, so many different things, man. He was a big influential part in cable. He was a big reason why I even knew anything about the NWA because of TBS, because I remember in the mid to late 80s, when we first got cable, I remember the Superstation TBS, and I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Jim Cornette said it was TBS was built off of Andy Griffith and Braves baseball, and it was, I mean. That was a place where you went and got all your old, TV shows and stuff from back in the day, 70s and 60s and stuff like that and everything. And very instrumental. But I remember those nights whenever I would turn it on and it'd be at little studio and all I'd be seeing was the NWA, it was like Georgia Championship Wrestling and stuff like that. Ric Flair, the Four Horsemen. And that's how I knew anything about them. I mean, I didn't watch them all the time like I did WWF and everything. I admit that. But looking back, it's become my favorite wrestling because it was just, I don't know, it was just gritty. It wasn't, didn't have to be all flash and stuff. It was just about good wrestling.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of costumes. There wasn't a whole lot of, makeup. It was just more about wrestling and trying to tell a story through that instead of all the extra that the WWF had at the time.
Yeah. I agree. Uncle Slam, you got anything to say about Mr. Ted Turner?
Like I said, like I said before, I wouldn't say he's as impactful as Vince is, but he definitely played a huge part in pro wrestling as far as his, taking over, NWA and then turning, WCW and then being able to financially back it till they got strong enough to be able to try to compete with WWE and then the Monday Night Wars, which of course gave us some of the best wrestling, that we ever had. And it kind of led us to where we are now. So, I mean, if it wasn't for him, then we wouldn't have a lot of stuff that we have now and stuff. So, I mean, you have to show respect to the people that came before us. And I think he's a big part of that. So, RIP to his family, to him, condolences to the family, obviously they miss him probably more than we do, but like I said, he definitely had a big played a big part in pro wrestling and the way it is now.
I 100% agree, and just not only in pro wrestling, just in the, TV industry as it is, what I'm saying? It led to so many other stations that became super stations, what I'm saying? Maybe not by name, but just by the content of what they decided to start showing. It forced everybody else to show better quality, what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Especially when like I remember distinctly when what was it, in the 90s, I think it was, when they had like the movie of the night and everything, on Friday nights and
yeah,
stuff and everything. I mean, it was, and it was movies that, had just, what, a year ago came out. So, you got to see a lot of newer movies, a lot sooner than what you did back in the day. And he helped bring a lot of that stuff around too, not just wrestling, but even in the wrestling thing. I don't think he had the impact as far as like on screen that Vince had. But as
yeah,
far as just owner versus owner, I would say he had almost as big of an impact as Vince, if for a short amount of time. He caught lightning in a bottle with the NWO and all that stuff and everything. And I think that, for a time he was probably the only owner, and not on screen personality and owner like a Heyman or anybody else, but just an owner that was behind the scenes. I think he, for a short amount of time, was probably the only real rival that Vince ever really had.
yeah. It was billionaire Ted, and remember, he was
Yeah.
a billionaire before Vince was. So I
Yep.
think Vince was a little, because Vince has always been super competitive. So I think
Yep.
he also saw, Ted with his money and his television, and it was like, I want to get to that level. So because I don't have anybody over me or better than me. And
Right.
I think also when it comes to broadcasting, as far as modern television deals, they were one of the first, TV stations that went out and started doing big television deals. And after that, wrestling was a big part of TBS, and now we see a lot more television stations or even streaming services that have jumped on the bandwagon when it comes to pro wrestling.
Hmm.
So,
And
I mean, you got to give a lot of credit when it comes to that also.
yep. Well, not only that, but I remember, like I remember, what was it, Tuesdays and Thursdays? You could watch the Atlanta Hawks. So you'd see the Hawks playing different teams and everything, stuff like that and everything. That was just, the Atlanta deal and everything. But that led to NBA on TNT.
Yeah,
That led to because I remember they would do double headers and stuff on TBS and TNT. I mean, well, and if I'm not mistaken, I remember like some of my mom's old Lakers Celtics Magic Bird rivalry games on TNT or TBS. You know what I'm saying? So it was smart. He was definitely an innovator in a lot of different things. Definitely rest in peace. Found this other little story about him real quick. William Regal, Stephen Regal said, Ted
I read this
brought me
too.
to the
Yeah,
United States and paid me and allowed me to feed my family for 6 years. Ted also took care of mine and my family's green cards. Rest well. That just leads to show you who he was. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
And he didn't
You know,
advertise. He didn't tell a bunch of people. It
no,
was one of those things he just did. And you find out, 20 years later, what type of man he is.
yep, 100%. That's amazing that he did that for him. That's pretty cool. So yes, moving on, but rest in peace, WCW. It wouldn't have been what it was without Ted Turner. So thank you, Ted, for everything. We truly do appreciate it. But I found this little tidbit, and I did not know this for all the years that I have been a wrestling fan. And for all the years I have been a Superman 2 fan. So the scene where, of course, he loses his powers and he gets beat up in the diner by the dude
Yeah,
named Rocky.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then he goes back and whoops Rocky and slides him down into the pinball machine and all that stuff,
Yep,
right?
yeah.
Oh, Rocky, Howard Martin, was a professional wrestler in Canada by the name of Pepper Martin.
Oh, okay.
I had no clue about this.
Wrestlers
was
popping
in,
up all over the place.
yeah, he was in all kinds of stuff too. He was in like he was really big and playing, and I don't know what roles it was. I'm assuming probably like bad guys and stuff like that and everything. But he did like a lot of 70s TV shows like Starsky and Hutch and TJ Hooker and, you know, just different stuff like that and everything throughout the 70s and everything. I was like, that's pretty cool. I never knew that. But yeah, old Pepper Martin, man, we're giving you a shout out, buddy, man. I was like, that's a pretty cool little factor. But anyways, I digress. Moving this along, Sports Illustrated ranks the top 20 greatest WWE superstars of all time. Number 1, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, John Cena, Roman Reigns at 5, The Undertaker at 6, Triple H at 7, Shawn Michaels at 8, Bret Hart at 9. See, Sports Illustrated, a true sporting analyst organization, even says Shawn is one little step above Bret. I'm just gonna say, and that harkens back to our last episode, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, I digress. Bruno Sammartino, Randy Savage, Kurt Angle, Roddy Piper, Edge, Randy Orton, Andre the Giant, CM Punk. Let me move this banner so I can see this, because yeah, I cannot see it. We're going to move it up to the top. I apologize about the wait. Well, now, oh, yes, it's CM Punk at 17, Chris Jericho at 18, Mick Foley at 19, and Becky Lynch at 20.
I can't even take this list seriously when you put Roman Reigns number 5 over Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. So after that shit, all this list is void.
I am
I
glad
can't
you
even
said the same thing.
like
It's
I can't
stupid.
even like Roman at 5. Come the fuck on, bro. No, I like Roman, but there's no way in fuck.
I'd give him probably top 15, 20, but not
Yeah, top
top
15
5.
maybe. Yeah,
And
10 be pushing it.
I'm not giving Romans over the Undertaker.
Yeah. Oh my God, over the Taker?
He got over. No, check this out. He got over Undertaker, over Shawn, over Bret, over Randy, over Kurt, over Randy. And the first Randy was Randy Savage. The second Randy is Randy Orton. He got number 5 over Andre.
Oh no.
Okay, so we can
No.
agree that this,
Like I said, this list
is
is just void right now. Like,
yeah.
and this is the list that you're going to tell me that shows that Shawn's just a little bit better than Bret.
Well, you know, I'm going to retract that statement on that
Exactly.
alone,
Yeah,
because
that's what I was thinking.
yeah. So as far as that list goes, we're ringing the damn bell on it. But yeah, that was terrible. Yeah, you're dismissed list, because that's terrible, man. I had to see what you said. All righty, here you
Terrible,
go.
like Charles fucking said. Terrible.
It's right. All righty, man. These banners are really working my nerves today. It's 1989. All 5 wrestlers want to wrestle for your promotion, but you can only choose 3. Who are you choosing to work for your promotion in 1989? You got Ricky Steamboat. You got, hey, Uncle Sam, if you can't see it, man, you can put your screen full screen. If you go to the bottom corner of your, the right there, click that little square, it'll make your screen full screen for you. But so you got Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair, Randy Savage, Sting, and Hulk Hogan. And this is 1989 of all these. This is not, world champion Sting. This is world television champion Sting. This is intercontinental champion Ricky Steamboat, not world champion Ricky Steamboat. So who's the 3 you're taking to start your company with?
Let's see. Obviously, I'm going to take probably the greatest Ric Flair. I'm going to take Hogan because it's Hogan. Those 2 are pretty simple. I mean, in my opinion. Next, it's going to be tough because.
Okay, before you answer that, you know what's hard about this? I don't want you to go on, because I want you to take this into consideration with your answer too. What's hard about this is, are you talking about, is this WWF or this NWA?
Yeah.
Who's putting the production behind this? Because if it's
Uh,
WWF putting the production behind it, my picks are a whole lot different than my picks are for
yeah,
NWA.
yeah. But I think Flair's going to stick with either one. It doesn't matter if you're going to WWF or WWE. I think he still does each one just as well.
Okay, so let
Uh,
me ask you this. If you match Flair and Hogan up that early instead of doing, okay, so it's 89. Would they get
yeah,
there first in 92? So what, like
yeah,
3, 4 years later? Do you think that 3 or 4 years would have mattered because the 92 was a dud?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would. Okay, I might change it a little bit, but not for much. Like I would probably first two might be Steamboat and Flair, just because the matchup, the history. I think if you're going to start a good rivalry, but you can't beat that starting off from a rip. But I think eventually, giving Hogan a couple years, his star power and charisma is going to come through, and you're going to have to recognize him. Um, but like you said, it depends on the organization. Like if I'm going for another, if it's WWF, then yeah, Hogan might be there. But if we're going, NWA or WCW type deal, then I don't think you put Hogan. I think you would go with Steamboat, Flair, and Sting. No disrespect to Savage, I just think if it's WWF, it's more of a Savage, Hogan, Flair, or maybe Steamboat. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't know, maybe Steamboat, but I think with Steamboat and Flair, they're interchangeable to each organization. I think you can put them either or, and they're still going to be okay. The other ones, it just depends on the organization.
See, I'm going to go. I don't know who we got with us. Hey, I appreciate JD, man. Appreciate you watching, brother. If you got any questions or anything, leave them in the comments, man. Um, but so the question, I'm sure you can see the question on the screen, man. If it's not 89, all 5 wrestlers want to work for you, but you can only pick 3. Our big question is it, are we talking WWF or NWA? Who's putting the production behind this? Because that's going to alter our picks. For me, and I hate to say this, man, but if I'm going, and I'm just going to go by default, say we're going to use WWF uh, production, because I'm assuming that's what this is saying. So it's 89, and I've got WWF production behind it. And by that, I'm saying we're saying that the Hulk or not Hulkamania run is run its course. We're moving on from it. Macho Man, he's kind of interchangeable, but if I'm going young, I'm grabbing Sting while I can in the WWF, because Sting with, if you switch Sting and the Ultimate Warrior, Sting is absolutely, there would have been no reason to have the rivalry between Shawn and Brett be the company carrier. You see what I'm saying?
You think
Sting would
Sting
have,
would have been a good substitution for the Warrior?
yes, if Hogan had dropped that title to Sting instead of Warrior at WrestleMania, it'd have been a whole different story, because Sting could do a promo, Sting could wrestle. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't
He
the
would do
greatest wrestler.
business, and he wasn't
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah, right. Right. So I'm taking Sting to be the heir apparent to Hulkamania. I'm taking the Ric Flair, because I gotta have my super villain, because you put between, at that point in time, you put between Ric Flair and Ted DiBiase as like a co-founder, man. And people forget too, you had old dude, why can I not think of their names? Tully and Arn. You had them in the WWF around that time as the Brainbusters. And then for me, you either do Macho or Ricky to be that villain for, or the not the villain, the good guy face for now, until Sting is completely ready.
So
You
you're
see what I'm
saying
saying?
Flair, Sting, and Macho.
Flair, I could go Macho or Steamboat, either or. I would probably lean more towards Macho for the entertainment value for production. If I'm going wrestling, I'm going to lean towards Ricky. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, yeah, that'd be where I'd go. Sorry, I didn't mean to stay on that too long, but I thought that was a pretty interesting one. All right, this one will be quick. Yeah, let's delete that. Which one of these is your favorite belt, Uncle Slam?
Oh, ooh. Well, you can wipe out the whole bottom row because they're all trash.
Right.
I'm just going to let you know from the fucking jump. You can
You
get
can
rid
go
of
ahead and
the
get rid of
other
that
one. You
spinner.
can get rid of the 6th one too. That's garbage. Oh god, I love the WCW, and I ain't gonna lie, the big gold.
Now, do you consider that a WCW or do you consider that NWA? I consider that NWA, but that's just me and my nostalgia.
I seen it more with WCW than I did with NWA, so that's where my recollection comes from it. Um, I would. Oh God, it's so hard with man with those top three. So hard. Top three. Shit. Mm, I'm going. I'm gonna have to go with 2.
Really? The big eagle over the winged eagle?
Oh,
That's hard, man. But I
bro, like
see
it's like
for
choosing a
me,
kid. You know what I'm
I know
saying?
it, man. I know.
It's like, oh, do I
The,
want my
the
eldest kid or I
only
want the youngest
reason
kid? Oh.
I say one is the winged eagle.
Mhm.
2 is the NWA/WCW World Championship,
Yeah.
and 3 is the Big Eagle. The reason I say that, Winged Eagle to me just has, and I know that the NWA, has the longest lineage, but man, there was just something. Everybody knows that the granddaddy is that WWF/WWE World Championship. That's the pinnacle.
Mhm.
Until somebody dethrones that, that's just the way it is. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Until another league comes up and is as good as the NFL, the Super Bowl is the champion. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. And that's just the way it is in the WWE and in the wrestling world. So, I mean, I got to give it up to that one. But 2, because of its lineage, has got to be NWA. And then 3 has got to be the Big Eagle, just because of the fact of it was that transition championship from the attitude into the ruthless aggression. All righty. I don't know if you've seen this. This will be a quick one. Dark Side of the Ring's coming back.
Ooh, yes, cannot wait.
So the TNA and Jeff Jarrett is going to be a 3-part special. Then they're going to do Paul Orndorff, the Big Boss Man, Missy Hyatt, Necro Butcher versus Samoa Joe, Zach Gowen, Rick Wilson, the Renegade. What do you think about this year's lineup? I
Uh,
actually like it.
yeah. Like I said, man, I've always, loved Missy Hyatt. Big Boss Man is always one of my favorites. Paul Ondroff, I don't think I knew enough about him. So, and they're gonna do a 3-part on TNA and Jeff Jarrett. Ooh, now
Yep.
that's gonna be some shit. Like I said, because that's got to be pretty deep if they're breaking it up to 3 parts or whatever.
I would say that one will probably be like the start, the middle, and the end. They're going to break it up like that. I got a bad feeling about that. Because I think if they do all 3 of them in a row, it will definitely make the show drag on and people will get tired of waiting for that next episode. I don't know. They might do it like that, but I'm really interested. I don't know much about this Necro Butcher versus Samoa Joe, but man, hey, we need to touch on some of these then in our shows, on our recaps. We need to watch them and touch on them then.
Yeah, I agree with
That'd
you
be
on that.
Yeah, it's a good show. But yeah, check this out, man. Everybody, it's going to start. I don't know exactly when the first start date is. As soon as I find out, I'll tell you. But I love Dark Side of the Ring. I think it's a pretty good show. All righty. Let's see. Did you see this story? This is just a real quick about how Mark Henry lied and said that Daniel Bryan was 6'1", about 200 pounds.
What? No.
Yeah. He says Mark Henry admits that he lied to Daniel Bryan's about Daniel Bryan's size to help him get signed by the WWE. Bryan Danielson's talent was undeniable, and the WWE wanted big people. And I was like, listen, I saw this guy wrestle last night. That was good. I don't give a blank what his size is. He's one of the most entertaining guys I've watched. I worked with Steve Austin and I said, this dude is really, really good. And then I lied and said, yeah, he's like 6'1", about 200 pounds, but I got him in the door and he did the rest. Hey,
How tall is he?
oh, dude, he's like 5'8", I think, man.
Oh
I mean,
God.
and I don't want to insult him by saying that. I don't know for sure, so don't hold me to that. But I know he's not very tall. And I know he's not very big. That's why Vince didn't want him to be champion.
Yeah.
But he's good. You know what I'm saying? That's
Oh
the
yeah.
problem. Well, we touched on this on the last match or on the last one and everything. Have you ever seen this, Uncle Slam? It was the anniversary. The Rockers, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty cleanly won the WWF World Tag Team Championship over the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart, and Jim Neidhart in 1990. They should have left with the belts. They did not. It remains one of the strangest what-if stories of the era. The Rockers beat the Hart Foundation for the tag team titles. Then Vince just erased it.
No,
So
I didn't know anything about that.
okay, so what happened was that, and even Brett was talking about, man, it was so stupid. He said we could have got through it and everything. He said because we could have just put a hold on, you know what I'm saying, and they could have said it. Is all they had to do. So what happened was the top rope popped.
Yeah.
And it was just laying there. They had no top rope to work with. So they were trying to, wrestle the match and everything, but they couldn't do any of their real spots and everything because the rope wasn't there. Brett kept telling the ref, fix the rope. Just fix the damn rope. That's all you got to do right now. It's taped. We can get through it. I'll lock a hold in. He'll lock a hold in, something, and we'll sit there for a few minutes. Fix the rope. He said the referee wouldn't do nothing. So next thing you know, they just didn't give them the titles. I was like, that kind of sucks, man. Because because as great as the Rockers were, man, they were never a world tag team champions in the WWE. They were in the AWA. But you know what I'm saying? That seems kind of like, you know what I'm saying? That'd be like saying that, like, the Rock and Roll Express were never the NWA tag team champions because they got screwed out of something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like, and I'm just doing comparative teams, the Hardys. You know what I'm saying? Something stupid just happened and they didn't get to win. I was like, that sucks so bad.
Was it easy to fix though? I mean, could the ref fix the ring? I mean,
I mean, apparently it was easy enough that Brett seen it to where he was like, he kept telling him, fix the rope. Just fix it, don't argue. I don't necessarily think he meant for him to fix it, but just call for the ring crew to get down here and just bring out another brace and everything and fix this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we can finish this match. We'll lock a hold in. You'll look up the interview with Brett where he talks about it and everything. I want to say it's him.
Check that out.
I want to say it's him, like when he's a little bit younger and everything. So he's, if I'm not mistaken, he's like sitting, it's real up close on his face, and he's got like a hat on and stuff, like he used to wear, like a baseball cap and stuff. His hair was pulled back and stuff. But yeah, I was like, wow, okay, because I knew about it, but I haven't heard a lot about it. You know what I'm saying? Or them talking about it. That is. All right, next story is, this is where, have you heard the story about how Kevin Nash and Roddy Piper got into it? And he said Kevin Nash has revealed WWE Hall of Famer was the biggest bully in the business. His image in media was such that there was no better person than him in this world. He came into the locker room and to tease me, and I grabbed his head and hit it on the wall and said, "This doesn't work with me, you effing clown." He said one of the worst people I've ever came across in my entire life. Do you think that, because I just don't think that Roddy was that kind of person. Like, I've watched interviews with him, and I don't think that necessarily he was, maybe he did have a little bit of an ego, but why not? You know what I'm saying? People forget that he was the other name on that marquee during that first WrestleMania. It wasn't just Hulk Hogan that made that thing go off. It wasn't just Vince McMahon that made that thing go off. There was a third guy that had to be on the other side of that ring, and that was, Rowdy Roddy Piper. He was the other marquee name. And then you throw two other, legendary names. And on top of it with Mr. T and Paul Orndorff, you know what I'm saying? It just, there was more people than just that. So, I mean, why didn't he have the right to have a big head?
Well,
I'm the reason you're here. And I'm not saying you got to be a jerk about it. I don't know if he was, but couldn't it be just not that he's a horrible person, that it just these two people just don't get along.
I kind of need a little more context though, because with this, like maybe with like this, like some hazing shit. Like I'm not trying to make excuses. Was this
Right.
like he come in just being a dick to be a dick? Because obviously Piper has an abrasive personality, put some people off. He's not everybody's cup of tea.
Right.
So and not everybody's know personality jail. And if you are a wrestler, like I feel like you kind of have to have a little bit of an ego. Um, so I don't know. Like I said, I mean, I haven't heard a whole bunch of stories about other people saying he was a bully, but that doesn't mean he's not a bully and shit. I mean, back in the day,
Right.
people didn't talk a lot and shit. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have as much social media. So, I mean, it's very possible. Um, I mean, hopefully it's not true, but if it is, then, if Nash said it is and he took care of it, then maybe Piper changed his tune after that.
I hate to do this because we kind of finished that episode, but the question I was going to ask you all on that last episode about Sean and Brett, and you brought it up just a second ago, is do you think that, and I'm going to harken back to the last episode, do you think that their rivalry would have been, and be objective really, really about this, you think their rivalry would have been borderline Hogan Andre? And maybe even above McMahon Austin, had social media been around?
I think that would have definitely blew it up a lot more. I don't know if it would have been,
Could you imagine hashtag sunny days?
yeah. I just think Austin and McMahon was something special. Not
Right,
to take
right.
away from Sean and Brett, it's just kind of hard to say. The
I
possibility
think it
there, like I
definitely
said,
would have boosted it to that point, maybe being tied. I don't know
if the,
about
yeah,
above.
now like if say the I mean, kind of like we talked before, like if the Montreal screw job had happened and Brett had stayed and they had worked that angle and stuff like that, and him and Sean had worked everything out, then we might be talking about them like we do Austin and McMahon. But because we never got that, we can't use that. But
Right.
just what we did have was enough that we still talk about it to this day. So it obviously has got to be pretty great.
Yeah.
But I can't give them that yet. But if
I
we had
think it
had that
would
little
have
more
been a
time,
difference.
yeah. But
A
there's
difference.
always going to be that what if.
Right, right. And that's the beauty and the bad of, doing this is like, it's fun to do the what ifs, but that's the sad thing is it's always just going to be the what if.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It sucks. That really does suck. Let's see here. Oh, my bad. Looking at this. What is this? Okay, so this was talking about, this is just a quick little story and everything. I didn't know that there was so much of an issue behind the scenes with the disagreement and everything about Tito Santana and Rick Martel splitting up. And it wasn't that they had the disagreement with each other. They had the disagreement when they were Strike Force back in the day.
Yeah. Okay.
And they didn't have a disagreement with each other. They had a disagreement with management. They both wanted out of the tag team.
Uh-huh.
Martel had just come from the AWA. He was a former world champion. You know what I mean? He wanted a chance to at least, get up there to the Intercontinental Championship level and stuff like that. Yeah, he had just won the tag team titles with Tito and everything. And Tito wanted to come back out and do singles again and maybe go on another Intercontinental run. You know what I'm saying? Or something, that could have been a way to get Martel the title. You know what I'm saying? Something to that effect. But like Martel, Tito was disgruntled and everything and wanted out of it. And Martel told him, he's like, I'll quit. I want out of it. I want, and that's how he ended up becoming the model.
Oh, okay.
Which, in my opinion, and I'm going to do a hot take right here, and it may not be that hot of a take. The model Rick Martel is one of the greatest wrestlers to have never won more than a tag team title in the WWE.
I don't know.
I do.
I do not know.
Go
What
back
makes
and
you
watch
say that?
because he was a ring technician. I would challenge anybody to put after Bret Hart beat Mr. Perfect for the Intercontinental Championship that first time. I would challenge anybody to say that the heir apparent, because everybody knows that Hennig was leaving for a while because of his back. I would challenge anybody to say the heir apparent to start challenging Bret Hart for that title should not have been the model Rick Martel, and the matches they would have had in that ring would have been we would be talking about them today. And I have no doubt. Again, we're talking about the what ifs and everything, but that's how good Martel was. Go back and watch him. Like, I know it was, the arrogant model thing was just like, what I'm saying, it's annoying and crap, the, arrogance and stuff that he would spray and stuff like that. But watch his in-ring work. He was great. And for him to be that great and not at least had an Intercontinental title run, because like we've said, it was WWE at that time, unless you were somebody like a Ric Flair or a Macho Man, or Ted DiBiase, because he turned it down. But unless you were somebody like that, you were not getting a world title win over Hulk Hogan. That's just the way that was. You know what I mean? All righty. What's this next one we got here? Okay, so yeah, I found this because you was asking me for something about this. So you was we were talking about, when was Hogan doing? You said Hogan was doing enziguris and stuff back in like the 70s. This is the match that I was telling you to look up between him and the Great Muta. It was on May 3rd, 1993. WWF champion Hulk Hogan defeated IWGP heavyweight champion the Great Muta at New Japan Pro Wrestling. Not, I don't know, and in Japan, that town in Japan. I don't want to butcher
You said
their.
that town in Japan.
Yes, I can't say it, so I'm not going to try to sit here and sound stupid and butcher it. It was in Japan that they wrestled. Although neither of the titles were at stake, in a pre-match interview, Hogan said the WWF champion was just a toy, and that the IWGP heavyweight title was the one he really wanted, which got him into a lot of trouble with WWF officials when he got back to America. But this is one of the matches and stuff I was telling you about, man. Like, he was doing enziguris. He was go look up Hogan stuff in Japan, man. And it was like late Hulk Hogan WWF, early Hulk Hogan WCW stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, that little move where you do an arm, I don't know what it's called, but you do an arm bar and you end up flipping them over into an arm bar where you're laying and everything.
Yeah.
Well, he's on there doing stuff like that and everything, drop toe holds. He could do it,
but that's not what they wanted him to do.
That's exactly what it is. They wanted
Do
that
you think
Hulk up.
that handicapped him? You know what I'm saying, by being so basic. Like
I
if he
don't.
had showed that he had more of a repertoire, that maybe he
I
wouldn't have
don't.
caught so much shit.
I don't think Hulk Hogan gave two rats' ass about whether or not people thought he was the greatest wrestler or the greatest entertainer of all time. You know why? Because his bank account didn't care.
The checks kept coming.
I'm just saying. That's it. I'm saying, he played the game the way the game was supposed to be played. I hate to say it. And speaking of Hulk, okay, check this out. Have you watched this
No, still haven't watched
documentary
it.
yet? Oh my God. Hulk Hogan beating WWE Raw ratings again. He did it in the 90s and he's doing it again. Hulk Hogan, Real American, drew more global viewers than the WWE Raw on Netflix weekly top 10 rankings. Netflix, just whatever that is, tops the Raw. I can't docu series. I couldn't read it. I need my spectacles. Netflix docuseries tops WWE Raw in global viewership.
Yeah.
They said he beat him in the 90s and he's doing it again with the WWE. He beat him with WCW. Now he's beating him with the docuseries. No, dude, it's really good. You gotta go watch it. It's
I will
great.
go watch it. Like I said, I'm just finishing up a couple other series real quick.
Right. All right, staying on the thing of Hulk Hogan documentary director confirms there's enough unused footage for more episodes. I would really hope that Netflix will order those episodes. And if you watch it, you'll find out why too. It was really good. It really
Is this
was.
produced by WWE?
I don't think so. I don't know. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But even if it is, I don't think it is because it's Hulk sitting there talking.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm not 100% sure. You may, if anybody knows that and anybody's watching, please go like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. But also, yeah, let us know in the comments. Is the WWE is the Hulk Hogan docu series a WWE production or a Netflix production? Let's see here. Next story. I'm trying to get through these stories pretty quick. All right. ESPN sources are reportedly pleased and enthusiastic about the possibility of Stephen A. Smith becoming more involved with WWE through his partnership with ESPN. According to WrestleFoot Radio, reports Stephen A. Smith on a strong working relationship with several TKO Group Holdings executives, which has helped more and move discussions forward behind the scenes. WWE President Nick Khan also said to have personally encouraged Smith's involvement. Okay, I'm not going to read the rest of this. What do you think about this?
Well, I'm gonna like how do I put this? He put Goldberg in his top 5 or 10. That's all I got to say.
Uh,
As a
how much
wrestler,
can you trust that?
yes. I mean, like if we're talking basketball, I believe what he says, and I can agree with him. We're talking football, I can agree with you. I believe you. Wrestling, you know what the fuck you're talking about. You have no fucking clue. Like you're way out of your depth here. Like no, no,
I
no,
feel
no.
like, and
This
I'm
is a
not
Pat
trying to,
McAfee shit. Like I said, next thing you know, he's gonna be in the ring wrestling and shit. No, no,
and I'm
no,
not
no,
trying to
no, no.
Barry Horowitz myself or Barry Horowitz yourself. And I don't know if you know that what that reference is. You remember Barry Horowitz?
Yeah,
The jobber that would pat himself on the back like that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I ain't trying to Barry Horowitz ourselves or anything, but I consider us lifelong watchers of wrestling more of experts than he is.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a lifelong watcher of basketball. I'm a lifelong watcher of football. But I feel like wrestling is easier to break down and understand for a layman than all the triangle offenses and stuff like that for, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I just feel like it goes so much deeper with sports. And I don't mean that in the slightest, in any slight of, because you got to have great skill to be a wrestler too. And it takes a lot of effort. I'm not saying that it's just a different thing, as far as a fan. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you what a triangle offense is this day, and that thing's been around since like the 90s. I couldn't tell you what it is. I know what a motion offense is, you know what I'm saying? But I can
Yeah.
tell you why they do a lockup and stuff in this, I don't know, it's different. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I'm in no way saying I am an expert. I just feel like I know more about wrestling than he does about wrestling.
I know you know
Anyway,
more than Stephen A. Smith does about wrestling and shit. Like, I don't even question that one bit. Like I said, if we were talking about something else, it might be a different story. But wrestling, yes,
I,
1000%.
and I agree. And that's our opinion and my opinion. I may be wrong. I don't want to speak for him. All right. Paul Heyman says that Braun Breaker is everything WWE looks for as the future of the industry. You're right. I am a Hall of Famer. I am a wise man. I am an advocate, but I am an oracle. What did I see in Braun Breaker? The future of WWE. He checks every single box. He's faster than anybody. He's stronger than anybody. He's tougher than anybody. He's a legitimate athlete coming from D1 into the Baltimore Ravens and straight to WWE. He is absolutely everything that we at WWE look for as the future of this entire industry. When did Paul Heyman become we as far as WWE? I get it, he works there.
Um,
You see
I
what I'm
don't know.
saying? That sounds so weird to me. But, anyways, do you think that he is all that?
I don't disagree because I predicted this before. Like when I saw him, when I saw Jacob Fatu, those two guys I've been raving about ever since they came out. I said, just give him a little time. I said a year for Jacob. Obviously, he's already getting his push right now, and I think if Braun hadn't been hurt, he'd already be it too. I mean, I think they have everything it takes. I think they might need to work on the promos a little bit, but like I said, when you have Paul Heyman as your oracle or wise man, man, you can't help but get better and shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like all you have to
Yeah.
do is just listen to this man. This man knows exactly what he's talking about. He's been doing this shit longer than you've been alive. You listen to him, and you will be fine and shit. So
See,
I, I think he has a great future in store.
I do too. But, well, one, I'm just going to be like, hey, I don't like the name. I still don't like the name
You're
Braun
still hating
Breaker.
the name. I
I
know. I
still
know.
hate the name. But man, you said something else a minute ago and it had me thinking about I can't remember. I went blank there for a second. You was talking about him being the future.
Yeah.
I can't remember what
I said
which
he
is
had everything pretty much, but like he wasn't the greatest as far as promos. But when you have somebody like Paul Heyman to kind of guide you, you know what I'm saying, or be your
yeah.
mouthpiece, all you have to sit there and learn. But
I
uh,
don't know. I can't think of it. I had a question. I'll come
maybe
back
it'll
to
come
it
to
if
you
I
later.
yeah, if it comes back to me, we'll get to it. If not, then it wasn't meant to be asked.
Exactly.
Okay, no, 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 no. I did find it. Okay, it was Jacob
What is it?
Fatu. You mentioned Jacob Fatu, and I don't know
Yeah.
if I have this pulled up in here, so I don't want to waste time just so we can get to it. Jacob Fatu, do you? I seen a thing where Jr. said that he was getting. I predicted this whole Roman Reigns Jacob Fatu thing. I just want to go on out on a limb and say that I predicted it a few episodes ago, but I predicted it was going to be down the road.
Yeah.
And even JR came out, I believe it was JR, if I'm not mistaken, and he said that they're pushing this way too quick. Do you think they should have built this up for a longer period of time?
I
And,
would have liked it.
and,
Go ahead.
hold on. And have you heard about any of the turmoil that's going on with
No, I
the
haven't heard about it.
salaries and stuff? Okay, so that's going to
Oh,
play into
okay,
it later.
now I have heard a little bit about certain salaries about how they want Roman to renegotiate his
Right.
contract and shit.
Yes.
I
So we'll
don't
get
know
into
how
that.
much. I've heard other people they've asked as much as 50%. I don't know what his is. I know he's still working on a part-time deal. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he's getting. Is it 5 mil or something like a year,
Oh no,
maybe?
he's like I don't know what it is a year, but he's like at a that's I think it's
I
like
thought he was
15 years.
15 for full time, but I thought since he had stepped down to part time, he was only getting like 5 or 6 or something like that.
I don't know. But even at that, you know what I'm saying? We'll get into that later. But do you feel like that could even be playing into the fact that this push is going quicker than what it probably should?
Uh, it definitely could be because, like I said, I mean, it kind of pisses me off that. I noticed that they've been cutting contracts. They've let, obviously like the New Day and people like that go. But I also know that some of those TKO execs have got their salaries pretty much doubled.
Okay, so
Uh,
before we jump into that, let me hit a
yeah,
few more things before, because man, there's a few more. I'm telling you, I've got a whole lot on that. So
okay.
I want to say, before we get too far into, I want to give. Okay, do you see this? That Brock Lesnar may be facing legal action after WWE controversy retirement. As per
I
reports,
heard that.
WWE is likely to file a lawsuit against Brock because they didn't know he was going to do all that. Blah blah
Mhm.
blah. Do you think it's cool? We don't have to read it all. Do you think that they should, sue him or just leave him the hell alone, let him retire?
Um, I had, I mean, like I don't need to read the story because I already read it before and stuff. They're basically suing him because they wanted him, and I don't know how true the story is about him to keep going and basically lose to Gunther to like get him over more. Um, I'm
I
with
don't think he
Brock.
wanted to.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't think it was believable, honestly. To me, him losing to Brock just didn't make sense. I get it. He's retiring. It helps Gunther, but if it's this man's retiring, I mean, what's the worst you can do? I mean, you can't fire him. All you can do
Right.
is sue him. Honestly, I
And
would leave him be and shit. But you know, corporations are known to be greedy fucks. So if
mhm.
they can get some money out of you, then they probably will fucking try to get some money out of you. But I would just leave the man alone. Like all the money he's made for that company, you can't give him his to be like, all right, we'll cut you some slack here.
Just let
I
it
think it
go.
would have been Vince. It would have been a totally different story. Vince would have been like, all right, but because it is a corporation now, it's a totally different situation.
Yep. I agree. All right. Did you see this? Two-time NWA World's Heavyweight Champion Trevor Murdoch has retired.
I
Do
did
you
see that
remember
also.
Trevor Murdoch?
Not that well. Like the name sounds familiar, but I do not remember.
He was in that tag team in the early 2010s. Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch.
Was he like a kind of cowboyish or some shit?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Did he
Lance
spit a
Cade
bunch of
was like
dip or some shit?
he was kind of like the dirty cowboy, the
Yeah,
dirty
yeah, yeah, yeah.
redneck,
Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
then
I got
Lance
you.
Cade was like the pretty cowboy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I know who
Yeah,
you're talking about now.
yeah. He's two-time champion. He retired. He said Trevor Murdoch really looked at his 27-year career and said, "Yeah, I'm clocking out before I start wrestling like it's a family reunion." At 45, the former WWE Tag Champion is retiring with dignity. Like, I can still wrestle, but do I want to risk turning into a highlight reel for the wrong reasons? Man straight up said he's not about to embarrass himself. Hold on, I ain't got my specs on. Man straight up said he's not about to embarrass himself, his family, or his legacy, or the legacy of Harley Race, just for a quick payday. After doing his thing in the WWE and NWA, Murdoch basically chose peaceful retirement. One more match gone wrong. One more match. He said, "Oh, peaceful retirement is greater than one more match gone wrong. Respect, though, bro left before the universe could say it's time."
I
I
was,
I'm gonna be
go ahead.
honest with you, man. Trevor Murdoch has probably been my favorite wrestler as far as singles wrestler in the NWA since I've been keeping back up with it. Him and Nick Aldis. And I just for him to have been what he was and then, come up to what he because I'm sorry, I think the NWA championship is pretty damn special.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you're a two-time NWA champion. There's a lot of people can't say that.
hmm
So, plus you're a WWE tag team champion, you know. Uh so yeah, and plus the reverence he has for Harley Race. You know what I'm saying? And because of that reverence of Harley Race, he doesn't want to harm that. So he's going to step away while he can. That's to me, that's just the ultimate respect.
I like it just because he did it simple, he did it clean. We didn't have a big production. It wasn't like the whole John Cena. We didn't need the whole build up. Like say, a Trish Stratus or a John Cena type deal. Just he did it. He did his job and he quietly retired. Almost kind of like Brock. The only thing different with Brock was that Brock did it at WrestleMania. Nobody suspected it.
Yep.
But he didn't want the big hoopla. He didn't want to do a year tour. He didn't want to do none of that shit. He just wanted to go in, wrestle. Hey, I'm done.
That's
Like
it.
let me go home and relax. I've made you a ton of money. Like let me be.
I've done what I wanted to do. Well, yeah, that's it. Just let me be.
I've made a
I
good
thought it was
living.
pretty cool. Yep. And that's it. It ain't like he can't. He's got a name. It ain't like either one of them can't walk into anywhere and get whatever they want for free, basically, and
Yeah,
not even for free. You know what I'm saying? They could do an advertisement for some work. You know what I'm
man.
saying? Get a brand new lawnmower if they. You know what I'm saying?
uh,
You know,
Brock could go right now and say he wanted to do a fight and to Netflix and make a couple, 20, 30 million real easily for like one fight and shit. The same as Ronda Rousey is doing right
I want to
now with,
see. I want to see Brock Lesnar versus Floyd Mayweather.
you know,
Hot take.
see, there's a big difference. Brock don't need the money. Floyd needs that money.
Right. Brock, he's cool with just going home on the farm and just hanging out, man.
Yeah,
That's how,
like I mean, Brock's always been a, like he's a stay-at-home person. Like he's never had a massive mansion and all the luxury. He likes his farm. He likes being secluded. He likes being near his family, his hunting, that type. I mean, he's a kid from Minnesota and shit. You know what I'm
yep.
saying? Like he's a simple man. He doesn't need limos. I think the most expensive thing he ever bought himself was probably a private jet, and that's
Track.
just so he can stay the fuck away from people.
Yep. The
That's it.
guy, next best thing is probably a tractor or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like a fucking tractor. Yeah. He didn't need a $100,000 Lambo. He went and got him $100,000 tractor.
All right. Check this out. And I look, this is, man, it may not be good. And that's why I was kind of hoping, if you're watching still, JD, man, comment on this because this ain't good, man. So I know this is AI generated, but this is some of the facts that somebody came up with. But speaks the truth about Tony Khan and AEW. WB Warner Brothers Discovery told Tony in August they would not renew AEW. So AEW's gone off probably TNA, TBS, and HBO Max.
Okay.
And and it directly, he confirmed it directly and triple sourced it. 8 months of nothing, no plan, no growth, no direction. The only distributor left, YouTube and Google. The Mayhew app isn't realistic. It's a death sentence in 2026. Too late to build, no real path to scale. Who's selling ads? Blah blah blah. New app, new game. Hold Tony's feet to the fire. Paramount is out. WBD is out. The CW and Roku are out. Amazon and Fox are out. Ask Tony the real questions about the network, lying to the locker room and the fans. Do you think that there's trouble in the water? Let me see. I think I got something else on this too. Let's see. Just in AEW will have roughly 12 to 16 months to secure a new television deal with either Paramount, Skydance, or elsewhere. Paramount, though, already has significant business ties to WWE's parent company, TKO Group. Sources close to Khan say he has told associates that AEW is prepared to move to YouTube, presumably as a temporary placeholder, while seeking a new partner. Do you think that moving to YouTube is going to be the route to go if you're trying to be the second best or even the best wrestling company in the business? Or do you think that that's kind of stupid?
I think you have to do what you have to do to stay relevant. I think the only death sentence would be to be completely off air. You have to keep your name out. You have to keep your product going until you secure another television deal. But like we said before, they have pigeonholed themselves in a corner with a lot of the blood and death matches and stuff. It's like it's kind of like ECW was back in the day. People loved the matches; they loved what was going on, but you can't sell that to a television station because you're not going to get any sponsors who's going to sign on to that shit. That's why you have to go to the only thing that's going to be left is find maybe a independent streaming service or go to like a HBO or YouTube or something like that. I mean, you don't have a choice. Like if you stop being on television, that is worse than putting out a shitty product.
That's it.
Because at least people are still talking about you. But if there's nothing there to talk about, then like you're just gonna fade away. So like you
Yeah.
have to do whatever you have to do to stay relevant. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if that finding like I said, it's finding a streaming service, starting your own streaming service. Maybe tell daddy to buy a streaming service or buy a television station or some shit. I don't know.
Put it on the Jaguars streaming
Yeah,
platform.
but like I said, you cannot not be on television. You can't let people not see you. But like I said, I mean, they have definitely hurt themselves because, like I said, like you're not going to be able to get sponsors the way you are now, and that
Right.
kind of makes you stand out. It's because of the shit you do. So it's a double-edged sword. It definitely made you different and separate you, but also it hurts you when it comes to trying to get business and to develop revenue.
Yeah. Yes, I am seeing you, JD. JD said, I think it's a bad move by HBO. I am watching, but I didn't hear this. He said, I'll look into this. We can chat another time about it. He said, I don't know if you're seeing this and these comments. I am, buddy. We just got deep into convo, man. Yeah, definitely we need to talk about it and everything because we here at Headlocks know that he is a huge AEW fan, and it's right up his alley of what he likes to watch and everything. I've never been a huge AEW fan. It's wrestling. I can watch it, but it's not like something I'm going to rush to watch. Okay, right now we're getting ready to get into the meat and bones real quick and everything because we got roughly about 30 minutes left and everything. And I'm going to scoot through a bunch of this because it all is relevant with each other. And then we can just really hit it at the end. If there's anything you want me to keep real quick to, back up one of your arguments or something, let me know and I'll save it so I don't delete it. But of course, we know WWE was tasked with shedding millions in payroll over the last month. But the WWE gave talent just 2 days to decide on pay cuts on the day of the mass releases. Okay, so now moving on with that, there is talk that Bayley could exit WWE, similar situation to the New Day. It has to do with it too. So, like I said, this all has to do with the same stuff. So I'm gonna just hit a bunch of stuff up and everything. If there's anything you want me to keep, we'll just talk a big conversation about all of it. Prediction: TKO is eventually going to get rid of WWE Legends deals if they're restructuring contracts for salary for talents regularly on TV. There's no way they're going to continue to pay retired wrestlers who have nothing to do with the company anymore. That I can see that, and that's
Yes. Yeah, I'm telling you, when corporations come in, they cut out all the
yes.
bonus. Like
Vince would never do that. Good, bad,
yes.
and I'm telling you what, shout out to him too. Ted Turner wouldn't do something like that either.
Nope.
I honestly and truthfully believe he would find a way, especially if Vince started doing it. If WCW was still around, Ted Turner still owned it, he would have done it too. Because you have to evolve with the business. People ain't going to go over there. They're going to do their legend contract with so and so, blah blah blah. Okay, so into the list of people who got released. There is Kyrie Sane, Aleister Black, Zelina, Uncle Howdy Bo Dallas, Nikki Cross, Santos Escobar, Motor City Machine Guns, Dexter Loomis, Apollo Crews, Rowan, Joe Gacy, Andre Chase, Zoe Stark, Alba Fire, Tyra May Steele, Cyrene Linton, Tyson, Tyreek. Let's see. Give me the rest of my list. Malik Blade, Thrill London, Luca Crucifino. I don't know if I said that right. Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, JC Mateo, Tonga Lau. Look, they just signed JC Mateo last year. Stupid.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy right there.
Yeah. And Tonga Lao too. He ain't done nothing, and they haven't done anything with him. But anyways, we'll get to it. We're gonna because, like I said, I got tons of it. It's just adding on to it. Roman Reigns to leave WWE after major talks with TKO collapse? Question mark. Roman Reigns to leave WWE after major talks with TKO collapse, and that's what I'm talking about with the rushing of this thing because keep this in mind. He was supposed to appear all these different dates. He made this promise he was going to appear, and then now they've come out and said he's not going to appear at all these dates. We'll get to it. Tensions between Roman Reigns and TKO over his restructured contract. Roman has reportedly considered dropping the title to Jacob Fatu at Backlash and stepping away if the situation continues. All righty, and then we got, of course, TKO versus Roman Reigns. I'll leave that up there. It's just a little bit more. If you need any of it and everything, I'll put it back up there whenever you're doing your argument. Xavier Woods, he is 16 years. This is his thank you letter to the WWE. He's grateful to them and all that stuff and everything. I still think that they got done dirty. There's the second part of it. I'll leave it up there for everybody to pause and read if you want to and everything. That's another thing. New Day, Bobby Lashley said, you retire these guys. You take these guys to the end and give them whatever they want because they've given the business everything. I mean, I'll give you the floor here in a second, Uncle Sam, to touch on every bit of this. Kyrie Sane, you know what I'm saying? She's over here. They're talking about bringing her back for a one-off at Backlash to finish the story that they started with her and everything since they fired her before they finished the story, which is stupid. Let's talk about how not to do something right.
Yeah.
Anyways, then you got, of course, I got a little graph here. The TKO
I'm glad you
asking for
did.
talent to take a 50% pay cut, while the executives to the top getting up to 300% raises. Okay, we'll get on that too. We got more about Nick Khan, and this breaks down his contract and everything. Cody Rhodes is pissed off about it. I'm getting tired of what we do. What do we do? What do we need this for? Who is this? Cody Rhodes warns wrestlers risk pushing fans away by focusing too much on business over the wrestlers fans love. He said, I'm in my head and some of these things as of late about every single piece of the WWE right now and every wrestling company. Somebody needs to share and put it out there. And I think what's going to happen is an overload of information to where fans just stop caring. Like, I watched the show. So we'll touch on that. Are they imploding? Braun Strowman claims WWE can't afford him to come back and pay and fight Obafemi in a match. He's like, yeah, there's not enough money. Y'all screwed me. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have to pay me and pay me good. All right, we're going to this SmackDown, and they're giving away tickets now. I'm
Oh,
pissed.
thanks.
Yeah,
And
I'm
we'll still
pissed.
take some free ones. Like we have to do to win them.
Right. I don't even know. I have no idea. But yeah, what is it? Giveaway win Friday night SmackDown Family 4-pack. How to enter, like, tag who you're bringing, fill out the form. There's the little thing. Ends 5/7 at 11:59. Winner contacted via email at Rupp Arena. But yeah, we paid all that damn money, and now they're gonna give some four tickets away. I'm mad.
Well, that's all right.
All
Like
right,
I said, man, hey, if we can win these extra tickets, then we might either get better seats or we can sell the other ones real quick, when we get there. We'll
right.
do some
Oh,
scalping.
right. All right, give me your big take on most of these firings and everything we just went through and everything. What is how put it all together for me?
Well, it's kind of like you said, everything's all related. It all comes down to money. Money, money, money. And a lot of it has to do with, and I've kind of beat a dead horse when I say this. It's when corporations take over companies and the family doesn't run it anymore, shit changes and it usually doesn't change for the best. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, Vince would have never done some of the shit that these people had done or whatever, as far as cutting people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you take care of the people that got you there. You don't shit on them. You don't take their money. And I understand it is a business, but at the same time, you have to you have to respect the people. I mean, you have to take care of the people that took care of you. Like if you didn't have the Roman Reigns, if you didn't have the New Day, if you didn't have these people, then would you be as successful? You know, like would you be in the same spot that you would before? You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And to tell somebody, that's making, you know, $100,000 to $250,000 to take a pay cut when your salary just jumped, 20, $30 million, it's kind of a spit in the face. It's like, why the fuck am I, take a pay cut like when you're making 10 times more than I am and I'm over here putting my body on the line. I'm the one on TV. All you're doing is sitting over here and you have no clue like how to run a wrestling organization. You know how to run a business, but running a business and running wrestling is not exactly the same thing.
Yes.
I think that they spit on a lot of people. I think they have no respect. I think it's all profit driven now. I think they're eventually going to chase a lot of their fans away because of ticket prices and because they're trying to merchandise pretty much everything that they got. And I understand you have to make money, but when is enough enough?
Okay, so do
When
you
it's
want to
too
break
much?
down real quick of Nick Khan's new contract?
Yeah, let me hear this.
So they've asked these people to take some people to take 50% pay cuts, but Nick Khan has signed a new contract to remain the WWE president through the end of 2030. The deal includes an $11 million signing. Hold on, let me make it big. Uh, Signing equity award, base salary climbing to $3 million per year, target annual bonus up to $6 million, annual equity awards of $7.5 million to $8.5 million per year, and a $5 million performance award tied to Zuffa Boxing. Total target compensation across the term could approach $100 million. Disclosed Wednesday in the TKO's quarter one 10Q filed with the SEC. So, they're asking them to take a 50-cent pay cut so he can get $100 million more dollars.
Yeah, like this doesn't make any sense because I thought that they're bleeding money, that they're in debt, they're in the red and shit.
Right.
If you're in the red, you don't give your executives bonuses. You don't give them new contracts where they're making way more money than before. I mean, this ain't gelling here. Like either somebody's lying here.
Right. So
The
it's
math
just
ain't math in here. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't have it both ways. You can't say we're losing millions of dollars, but instead we're going to give these other people who are supposed to be making us all this money a huge $1 million raises and shit. For what? Most of that's just supposed to be performance based. If
right.
they're not doing what they're supposed to, then why are you getting a bonus? Are they lying and they are making money and they just want to be cheap as fuck?
Pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. They just want to collect the people's money. It has nothing else to do. They don't care about the quality of the shows anymore. That's why we get 4 matches that are subpar. And it's just like, why? Why do we have to deal with this if I don't know, man. It's become so
Frustrating.
redundant that yes, it
Very
is,
frustrating.
especially as a wrestling
Lifelong fan.
fan.
Yeah.
Yes,
Lifelong fan.
and it's like this is supposed like we said earlier, the WWE Championship is supposed to be the pinnacle. This is supposed to be where the to quote Kevin Nash, this is where the big boys play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why are we dealing with the fact that the quality of the show is worse now than it was 30 years ago? I mean,
We
it's
know why.
just
Like I said, 3
right.
letters, TKO.
It's just, and it's like JD said earlier, when you add corporations, well, you said it too. When you add a corporation to it, it's just gonna, I don't know, it's terrible. So like, okay, so let me ask you this. Do you think they should just go out and pay her for a one-off to come back and finish a story? Or do you feel like that's insulting? We'll use you one more time.
I think that really depends on like what she wants to do or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like if she wants to, like if she's okay with the one off and then end it, like basically backlash Oscar and Rio, and she comes in and picks one of them, and then they ride off into the sunset. I'm okay with that. But if they want to continue the story, I'd be all right with that too. Um, but I think it is kind of disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I think she put in a lot of work. Now she's not as famous as say a Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch or whatever, so I don't think she should be paid like them. But um, I think she's definitely a star. But I think she gets left behind because there is such a great women's division. I think if she was maybe in like a smaller place or some shit, she would shine more. But because the women's division is so deep, it is so talented now, she gets left behind.
I agree. All right, so I'm gonna get a quick take on a few things for you that we covered earlier. Bailey, you think she should leave WWE and go somewhere else like TNA or something, or Ring of Honor, or even AEW for that matter? Quick take, yes or no?
I don't really care.
Don't really care. But
Don't
is that
care.
the WWE's fault? Because Bailey is one of the best they got in ring. You got to admit that. You got to give her just due. She is really good in that ring.
I She is, but I think she can go anywhere and be a star. I don't think if
I
she,
don't.
I
Right.
yeah. So like, I think whether she stays, she'll be good. I think if she goes someplace else, she'll be a world champ. So
I
she's
think
good either
wherever she
way.
goes, they need to start using her again as a heel. I think she plays a heel much better because she's that heel that's so sarcastic that you just want to. Not that I advocate a man
I thought
hitting a
that's the
woman
way they
or
were going
something.
with her
Yeah,
until they started doing the whole tag team shit. And then it just changed. She went from, looked like she was going to be a heel to then just being a little crazy, and now she's all goofy and lovable shit.
let's see. What do you think about the Legends contract? Should they get rid of them? Should they keep them?
That's bullshit. That's
I
very
agree.
disrespectful for people that built your company. No.
I 100% agree. Any names on this list you think they should have kept?
See, it's hard to say. It's like I like New Day, but they didn't do shit with them. Like a lot of people I like, but they haven't done so much with them. It's hard to justify to keep them. Like as much as I like Aleister Black, and I think he was talent, they never did shit with him. I don't think they did shit with his wife. Um, I think the Wyatt Six, like I said, they didn't do shit with them. I think with the what's his name, Tonga or
Tonga
whatever.
Lao,
Yeah, Tonga Loud didn't do shit with him either. So I think
JC
as
Mateo.
yeah, as as much as it sucks getting cut, I think it's a blessing in disguise that now these people can go to other organizations and get the shine that they really deserved. So as much as it sucks, I think it could be a really, really good thing for them in the long run.
What do you think? Let's see. Let me put this up here real quick. Quick take on this. What do you think about the possibility of Roman Reigns leaving WWE? And if he leaves WWE, do you see him just walking into the sunset, or do you see him possibly going and wrestling somewhere else? And if I don't think he will, but if Roman Reigns was to show up at TNA, or if Roman Reigns was to show up at AEW and pull like a Hulk Hogan from WWE to from to somewhere else, and just use his real name, you know what I'm saying? He's still
Yeah,
tribal chief. Do you think that that's a huge deal, a huge possibility? And what do you think about the fact that they could lose him?
I think it's definitely a huge deal. Like anytime you got one of your world champions leave, I wouldn't say in his prime, but pretty much, pretty close to when he was in his prime is a big deal. I think if he went to a TNA, I think he'd be better in a TNA than an AEW just because of the story and stuff. But I could also see him being okay with just walking away. I think he's made enough money where he can be comfortable. I think he's been trying to transition to acting anyway.
Yep.
I think it would leave him more time to focus on acting and maybe get better. Like he's never going to be a, you know, Shakespearean actor, but I think he could be a good, action star. I think he could be uh, Rock-like, maybe not like The Rock because I don't think he still has the same charisma. But if he could be a good villain, big bad guy, or maybe a sidekick, whatever you want to call him.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: you think if he leaves and if he decides that he doesn't want to hang it up and go to acting, which and honestly and truthfully, I could see him pulling a Hulk Hogan. I'm gonna leave and go act a little bit, and then a couple years into acting, it's not working out the way it did, and then AEW comes calling. You know what I'm
Definitely a
saying?
possibility. He's
And
got options. Like I said, he definitely has options. You
right,
know what I'm saying?
but do
Like
you?
if it doesn't work out, then he can go do a couple different things.
Well, my question is if AEW can stay afloat until then, and which I think Tony Khan will pour every little bit of money that his daddy will let him throw into it until it sinks. But if he can hold on long enough, do you think if he can get a Roman Reigns to come out and maybe even come out of retirement from acting again, pulling a Hogan, and he does that, do you think that that would be enough for him to be like, man, you got to get people in here who know how to write stories?
I think it would be big for them. I don't think it would be enough to change the tide. I don't know if he could get them to change the way they do their storylines and shit, which, like I said, obviously that's always been the biggest critique with most people at AEW. Nobody ever bitches about the action. It's always the storylines are kind of weak.
Yeah,
But I think that also what kind of sets them apart. Um, Anywhere Roman Reigns goes is going to be big no matter what. Shit, like any place but WWE. Shit,
I
just
agree.
because he's been big for so long and shit.
But do you think
Uh,
he could command that Hulk Hogan type respect if he went somewhere else?
maybe,
You
maybe
think he's earned it like that? I mean, for an AEW, yes. Even for a TNA, yes.
for this generation, yes. For
Yeah.
my generation, probably not.
No.
For the younger generation, because I look at it, like, and I've used this analogy a couple times. I think it's like the LeBron Jordan thing. I think after a certain age, yes, he is, their GOAT. But to me, I'm old school. I'm gonna look at like Mike instead of a LeBron, and so I look at like a Hogan is always gonna be bigger than a Reigns. Even though Reigns had the title longer, he's had a longer streak with it. I think it just depends on demographics that you ask and stuff. But to me, he's not on that level. Like I said, it's kind of like that list when they had him five. To me, that's fucking disrespect to a
Right.
lot of people. To a lot of people on that list.
That's too low.
Um, I think he is impactful, and I think he went someplace else besides WWE than it would because it would cause a big stir. I don't know if it would be as big as Hogan. It might be for this generation. It would be for me. I don't think it would be like him going to the NWO or anything. I think it would be, oh my God, do you see Roman Reigns? Blah blah blah. Oh yeah. Oh man, that's crazy.
Right.
Social media would definitely help push the narrative or the storyline or whatever. But like I said, it just depends on who you ask and probably their age.
I can see it. Like you said, it's time, place, and manner. That's just what it is. It's time, place, and manner. All right, let's see here. All right, give me a quick take on these salaries and the rising salaries and the lowering of the other salaries.
It's fucking sick. Look at that shit. Shit went up 303%. Another went up by 271%. Another went up by 304%, 34%. And you want other people to take pay cuts so that your shit. No, bro. It's just like if you work at Walmart, shit. They'll give you a raise, but then they'll cut your hours. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, business is doing good. Oh, cool. So we can have a raise. Oh, sorry, we can't give nobody raises and stuff. But don't worry. Management's gonna get a nice bonus this year and shit because
Right.
we did so great. Like I
We
said,
did good. We did good keeping the real workers down so that we can
yeah.
get more money.
But it doesn't make no sense. Like I said, if they're losing money like they're said, then
Yep.
why are these motherfuckers getting bonuses?
And here's
If
another
you're
thing.
bleeding money, you need to be conservative. You need to
Yes.
save. These people are not doing the job they're supposed to be. So why the fuck are they getting paid this well? It makes no sense. Because if you have to make the people that are actually making you money cut in salary and tighten their belt, why shouldn't the upper people be tighten their belt and cut?
Exactly.
So it just doesn't make no sense to me.
Well, and honestly and truthfully, it's giving, as the youngsters say, it's giving WCW vibes. A corporation came in, took over, Warner Brothers. The only difference between it is they didn't want, even with Turner in charge, they didn't want wrestling on the channel. The difference was when AOL Time Warner came in, it they just took over something and didn't know what the hell they were doing at all, just like TKO. And because of that, you know, we're going back to the ticket giveaway. Is this giving WCW vibes because of how they were giving away free seats and stuff and everything? You know what I'm saying? It's eerily similar. All right, so we're off that for a minute. I got a few other little things, and then we're going to get out of here and let you people get on with your Friday night. It's midnight. Well, actually, it's Saturday morning now, so we appreciate the 5 people here. Let's see. Eric Bischoff sounds off on Uncle Howdy. I think the presentation was a mess. Trying to recreate something like that, and this is exactly what I've always said about this. Trying to recreate something like that very seldom is a good idea as the original. They had nothing to do with the talent. It had nothing to do with the talent. Sorry, I can't read it today, guys. It had everything to do with the presentation. Between 6 months to 12 months, hell, Uncle Howdy be back. It's just a matter of figuring out something that will work. He's a smart kid. He's been around the business his whole life. He's young. He's talented. He got saddled with a bad idea. Um, all the intentions were right, but the idea wasn't. So now it's back to the drawing board. I agree. I don't think the Uncle Howdy Wyatt Six thing ever should have happened. Just let the man rest. You know what I'm
I think
saying?
Eric Bishop kind of looked like Uncle Howdy. Put that picture back up. I mean,
Oh
shit.
man, I done deleted it. My bad. Yeah,
Oh,
he's getting a few wrinkles now, ain't he?
I mean, they look very similar in that picture. Like if Bischoff had grew out his hair, he might be the son of Uncle Howdy or something. I don't know.
Oh man. Okay, so I got a little fact for you. No, I don't. I forgot it. Crap. I'll come back to it. Okay, so breaking news. Sorry, guys, I'm working on very little sleep. So breaking news: Booker T, and this is about Aleister Black. All these years, do you remember an Aleister Black match? Booker T on Aleister Black getting the release from WWE. He said, "Well, do you remember any matches? Leave it in the comments." Everybody talks about Aleister Black. He's great. He's great. He's great. But I don't. I don't have any great moments. I've never heard of any great moments from Aleister Black, other than the fact that he keeps kayfabe with the eye thing. You know what I'm
But is
saying?
that because of WWF or is that because of him?
I mean, is it because of him? Is it because of WWF? Like I said, two things can be true at once. Because if you remember, AEW didn't do anything with him either.
Well, I mean, he was more popular though. I mean, he got over. Of course, his name was different. I'm trying to think of what it was back then. But
Malachi.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, he was the world. No, he wasn't a world champ, was he?
Nope. No, he didn't do anything, man. They buried him.
Are you talking about WWF?
Talking about both of them.
I
WWF,
thought
AEW.
I thought he at least had won a belt in
Maybe in NXT.
and or I thought he at least had a faction or something with them or whatever.
He had a faction in
Yeah,
AEW, I believe.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he was. I mean, he may have held like a title in AEW, but he wasn't like world champ or anything like
Hmm.
that. Like Booker T said, I mean, it's no, I'm not trying to disrespect him or anything like that. I'm just asking the question, do you remember? I don't. And it's
No,
no
can't say
offense.
I do. I remember his girl more than I do him.
All righty, here we go. Kevin Nash says WWE needs to stay out of Vegas after the second CM Punk fan incident. Did you hear about it?
Yes, I did see the clip about some fan that was harassing AJ Lee in her hotel or whatever, and CM Punk stepped in and
Well,
about
yeah,
beat
but
his
then
ass.
there was also a second guy that CM Punk apparently walked up and shoved in his chest for no reason because he called 911 on CM Punk.
Oh no! I didn't see that. I did not see
Yeah,
that.
so after the second one, Nash was just like, man, they need to stay out of Vegas. Just don't even put him in that situation.
Well, I think CM Punk, he was a little agitated because of what had happened, and I think he was a little hypersensitive. You got one incident, somebody already done fucked with your wife, and now you're already on the edge. So anybody looking at your wife, anybody looking at you weird, um, would probably set him off. Now, I don't know why they didn't have security. Um, that right there should have been provided by the WWE, especially at something like WrestleMania.
Hmm.
Um, or at the very least, that's something that like maybe they need to consider. Start taking it into account.
I agree. Well, we are getting down to the last couple. We're hitting an hour and a half. Chelsea Green underwent heart procedure after 10 years of living with SVT. Now, that is something I forgot to do. I want to look up what SVT is.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have no clue what that is.
I,
I know it's
I
like
cannot
SVU.
remember.
That's like she's a special victim.
Let's see. SVT. Let's see. Supraventricular trachycardia. That's something big. Let's see. Let's see.
Can you break it down for us,
Very
slow folks?
SVT is a very fast heartbeat that may last for a few minutes to a few days. The heart beats 100 times or more time 100 or more times a minute, usually during SVT. The heart beats 150 to 220 times a minute. So it raises your heart rate. It's something
Okay.
to it's a racing heart. Well, I did not know that, and I meant to look that up before I uh, talked about this. But I wish her a speedy recovery and all that stuff. I don't know if this was recent or a while ago, but any heart procedures I know are really scary. My first ex-wife, she had to have a couple of them, and man, that's a scary thing to watch. I'm not even joking.
Yes, it is. I think it
Oh,
might be in the past or whatever because I think she just made her comeback on Raw last week or something like that. So
okay,
hopefully it's
okay,
the past.
yes. Hopefully it's passed, and it has passed.
Okay.
Let's see. John Cena, he's big, he's bad, he'll body slam your dad. WWE, oh my God, Mason Rook has arrived in NXT. Have you seen Mason Rook?
Yes, I have. He has been making his presence known the last couple of weeks, right after, pretty much after, was it Stand and Deliver? I think their big pay per view after Tony D won the title, and and then all these challengers, because there was a big migration moved up from NXT to
Right.
SmackDown and Raw. So to replace that, they had a big influx of talent from LFG, Evolve, and some other places,
Yep.
and he was one of them.
Yep.
Very shit for a big man. He is very athletic.
Agile. Yes.
Yes. He can come off the top rope. He can do a backflip, a
Mhm.
moonsault. Like this man is.
I'm
Uh,
interested to see what he does.
yes.
Mason Rock. Is it Mason Rock or Mason Brock? I think it's Rock.
I'm not
Brock.
sure on that
I don't remember. I done deleted it again. I gotta stop doing that so quick.
one.
I got trigger happy. Yes, yes. Well, let me ask you this. We've been on too long to run down all the big time stuff and everything. And I'll be honest with you, I don't have my list here in front of me of the results of TNA, NWA, and AEW. I apologize about that I don't have the results. But I don't know if you had any results, and if you do, I was just going to say, is there anything major you want to hit on real quick?
Let me look real quick. I don't think there's anything huge. Everything's just rolling up to
Backlash.
backlash for the biggest
Backlash is
thing.
tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah, let me see.
But we got something better for you than Backlash. Way better for you than Backlash. And I'm going to give you a twofer for the price of one.
Let's see. I'll
A
run down the
twofer for the
highlights
price
just
of
real
one.
quick. JCJ defeated Charlotte Flair. Rhea Ripley didn't really do much. He just cut a promo. Let's see. Tag team match. We had Damian Priest and R-Truth versus Axiom. Damian Priest, uh, Damian Priest and R-Truth won. Bloodline. They just pretty much talked. They're hyping up the whole Roman and Fatu, Jacob Fatu. Um, I think Cody went against Ricky Shanks, which is a guy that came from NXT.
Yeah.
Raw, as far as big highlights, we had the contract signing between Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns, which basically broke out in the fight like we all suspected. Um, let's see. I know what's his name. JCJ defeated Charlotte Flair. I'm trying to think. There's not really a whole bunch going on. Like everything's just pretty much motivated of moving up towards backlash. Um, Oba has like an Oba Femme challenge going on. He picked up Otis. That's probably what the Braun Strowman was talking about because Braun Strowman, they showed a video where he had no issue picking up Otis,
Oh,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but for Oba to pick him up, he had to put him on the rope.
Yeah, because he
Um,
power bombed Otis.
oh yeah. And Otis, I think, is like 300 pounds.
Yep.
We had Ethan Page and what's the Russian, not Russian guy?
Rusev.
Yeah, Rusev tag up, and they beat like Devon Evans and um, Parker.
Doesn't sound like much of anything is going on.
No, not really going like I said. Let's see. EO and Oscar talking about their match coming up. Finn Balor and JD McGunna were supposed to have another match that should end in a no contest. Um, NXT is pretty much all these new guys trying to establish dominance in the organization or whatever. Plus, you have some new women coming in or whatever. So it's pretty much kind of topsy turvy or whatever. Nothing major besides the whole Tony D thing. They had the one Japanese guy, what's his name, Evil.
Evil. Yeah.
Yeah, he delivered some boxes and a T-shirt, basically saying war's coming. And then they've been doing some interviews with Devon Carver, where at first they were acting like he was just a brute and savage. Now they're acting like he's more like an intellectually savage type guy or whatever. But it's pretty much everybody for themselves in NXT when it comes to the championship. They have, like I said, the guy we just talked about. They've had another, I think, a guy from Evolve. They've had two or three people from NXT. So it's pretty wild out there. Um, Nothing really besides they had a corny match. It was a mixed title match between Lola Vice and Iguana versus Izzy Dame and the Culling, which Culling won that. Um, that's about it, honestly. Like I said, nothing really interesting going on in wrestling. It's kind of a slow week or whatever. Hopefully, more things will pop off during Backlash, and we won't get as much commercials and filler bullshit. Hopefully they'll listen to the people and give us more matches.
I agree. I 100% agree, man. Okay, so in saying that, like he said, there's not really a whole lot going on. Now, tomorrow night, like I said, is Backlash. So if you're going to stay home and watch some Backlash, ain't nothing wrong with it. It's all good. You know, it's Saturday night. But if you are in the area, and by the area, I mean the area around Danville, Kentucky, I urge you because, well, we just didn't get to it tonight for me to shout out tonight.
Well, shout
But
out real quick then.
yes, UCW and USWF, the 2026 Garrett County 2 days of live pro wrestling, Friday, May 8th. Bell time was 7 o'clock. I don't have any results on that. And tomorrow, May 9th, bell time is 2 p.m. And it is going to feature Marty Clay, I believe it's the Kentucky heavyweight champion. I know he's the AMW heavyweight champion. That's Appalachian Mountain Wrestling, but it's going to be a good card. It's free. Come on out. It's a Garrett County Tobacco Festival. Bell time, like I said, it's 2 p.m. Seating is just wherever you come. It's free. You know, there's steps you can sit on or bring a chair, and they urge you to bring a chair. So you can sit home and watch Backlash, or you can come out and get some funnel cake, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, you know, some tacos or a good sandwich or whatever from a food truck. And then you can walk around and see some wrestling for free.
And beat
And
that.
right.
For a
And
Saturday night, man, that's the cheapest that you're gonna get at this time, especially with gas being $4.50. Shit, you better take advantage of that shit.
not even that. That was free wrestling. But I'm gonna give you a double header. I'm gonna give you two for the price of one. Because tomorrow night in Danville, Kentucky is the first night of the brand split between what we call our home promotion, which is Elite Wrestling Alliance, EWA for short. They are doing their brand split. So in Danville, Kentucky tomorrow night at Jenny Rogers Community Center, as usual, 7 p.m. bell time, doors open at 6. They are premiering their first episode of Ignition. Now, if you don't know, Buzzsaw Nate, Evil Nate, he is your new EWA champion. Beat Adrian Alexander, who has joined the Ben Sheeran brand. Turned his back on all his fans. So I'm telling you, come on out and see it, because over in Richmond on May 16th is the other brand, Pulse. You can go out there and see the likes of Cash Adkins, Ethan Heyer, and of course Buzzsaw Nate, and some of the great lady wrestlers. I'm telling you, man, for a twofer, and you can pay what? Roughly $75 for a family of 4 to go out all day long.
It's cheaper than going to McDonald's, I'll tell you that much.
For real.
Cheaper. Way
you can go to
cheaper.
McDonald's and pay $50.
Shit, hell yeah. You can go to both shows. You can go to the one in Lancaster, and you can go to the one in Danville. And it's still going to be cheaper than going to any WWE show that you will ever find in the next fucking 5 years and shit. Hell.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Let's see. I think we got a comment up here. Let's see. No, we didn't. Well, it says, "What's up?" Let's see here. I got just a couple more because I'm shooting this. We got the lineup for it. EWA champion Buzzsaw Nate will be in action. This is just some of the lineup. Let me shoot this up here because I can't see. Beautiful Billy Maverick will be taking on the Wrestling Machine Corey Sparks. Big Time Ethan Heyer will be taking on Ryan Ramsey. Lone Star Cash Atkins will be taking on the Scoundrel Alex Angel. And so much more. This and so much more. As it says, tomorrow, 6 o'clock, doors open. Jenny Rogers Community Center. You see that little UPC down there? Go scan that. You can order your tickets online or you can get them at the door. But you risk not getting around the ring and getting to see all these great stars. I'm telling you, we love them. We love this organization. The debut of Ignition just a few short days away. Like I said, we're going to promote them, man. Huge matches announced. Danville's own Billy Maverick taking on debuting Corey Sparks. So we got some debuts. We got some hometown heroes. Come out and see these people. I'm telling you, man. These are the next stars of the business. These are the people that, I just can't stress it enough, man. I fell in love with indie wrestling. It's just great. And like we are going to the Appalachian Mountain Show in June. We are going to see Nick Namath, aka Dolph Ziggler, take on Marty Clay, who, if you come out to Lancaster tomorrow at 2 o'clock, you can see Marty Clay wrestle. So if you come out tomorrow, you can see the man who in a month is going to be taking on an ex WWE heavyweight champion and a TNA star. I don't know for sure if he's won the TNA championship, but I'm sure he probably has at some point. And if he hasn't, well, that's a travesty because he's a damn good wrestler. I've always liked Dolph. But yeah, see, you can come out and see the guy he's going to wrestle. Come on out, guys. I ain't got nothing else for him. Uncle Sam, you got anything for him?
I'm tapped out, sir.
I am too. I am tired. It is a whole nother day.
I know. Whew.
The referee has hit that 3 count. We appreciate everybody being here. Like, share, follow, subscribe. We have got some bigger things coming to you. Love all y'all. Peace, harmony, all that good stuff. Love each other. Take care of each other. That's one big thing. All right, referees hit the 3 count. We'll ring that damn bell.